Hi, so it's insanely late. It's about 2 a.m. right now, and I can't sleep, so I decided to make another tutorial. This one's going to be on how to keep curls in stubborn hair that just wants to stay straight. So there's definitely tons and tons of ways to do it, and you kind of have to figure out what works best for your hair. So you can experiment and find a couple of ways that really work for you. So number one is you can start straight from the shower. So you can have your regular shampoo, but you also can get wave or curl activating shampoos, and even for straight hair they still lift it up a little and give it a little bit of bounce. So after using that type of shampoo, you use something like this, and it's John Frida's curl activate, well, it's wave activating spray. Not like you can see that, but you shake it up and you spray it in your hair when it's still damp, not completely wet. Towel dry it as much as you can, and then spray it in and kind of scrunch your hair and let it air dry for a few minutes. And then what you would do is blow dry your hair without scrunching it, without brushing it out that much. Try to run your fingers through your hair as least as possible, because you really want to keep the most of the wave in there without brushing it out and straightening it. Then what you do is curl your hair with a hot iron. So you use a curling iron on a medium setting or a high setting, depending on your hair. If your hair is very soft, then use a medium. If your hair is thicker and longer, then use a higher setting. And what you do is you curl up your hair with a hot iron after it's dry, and let it sit for about 30 seconds. I usually count to 30. And then what you do, you let it out, and you take a curler, and what you do is you put that curl back on the curler and you pin it up. Another thing that you can use instead of a curler is twist that curl back up and pin it up to your hair with a bobby pin or something. And you do that for all over your hair, and then put a synthetic fabric over your hair, like a synthetic scarf, and then what that will do is that will keep that heat in. So what you're creating is, those big bowl-like things that go over your head at salons. That's exactly what they do. They produce heat for when your hair is in curlers, and it makes the curls last longer. And the most crucial thing in this whole tedious process is that you absolutely have to let your hair cool down. The longer you can keep the curlers in, the better. I usually keep them for about 4 hours. So I usually do this if I'm going out for a big event, like a Christmas party or a New Year's Eve party, or possibly somebody's big bash birthday at an expensive restaurant, or it would be definitely suitable for prom. And after keeping them in for about 4 or 5 hours, while I get dressed, eat, whatever, go on YouTube, just around the house. You can also go to sleep with those. And after about 4 hours, those curls stay with me until I wash my hair the next time. So if I didn't wash my hair for 3 days, I'd still have a complete curl intact, and they don't turn into those like lazy waves. They stay like tight curls the way you curled them. An alternative for if you are planning on sleeping in them, if you do this at night, is these little spongy things, and you can get them at pretty much any drugstore, I would assume, and they're kind of squishy, and they have this little foam thing inside. And what you do is you curl your hair onto it, and then these ends are kind of sticky, so they don't stick to your hair or anything, they really stick to each other. So you kind of squish. This one's old, so it doesn't work, but see how they're kind of like sticking together? Yeah, that looks kind of gross. Anyways, so you can sleep on these because these are a lot softer. If you don't have these or curlers that are, I like these because they're They don't have the clip thing, so you can actually sleep in them. If you don't have any of those, what you can do, another thing that's comfortable, is take an old thick towel and cut it up into strips. And I don't really have an example to show you on. I threw mine out, but it's a piece of paper. So you take, imagine this is a towel. Alright, what you do is you cut them kind of thick and long, and then you roll it up so that the strip is kind of like this. And if this was a towel, it would be round and it would kind of look like this. And what you can do with that is curl your hair in the middle, but then you can tie these ends. And another blogger, yes, actually posted a video on how to curl your hair with paper bags. I do pretty much the same thing except with a towel, because it's softer and it's a little easier to sleep on. I don't want paper poking at my face when I'm sleeping. So that's one way when you're going straight from the shower to the, to curling your hair. If you're kind of doing it for an evening out, you can still kind of repeat that same thing, except since you're going from the dry hair, is spray your hair with a curl activating thing, except you need to pick one up for when your hair is dry, not this one's for wet hair. And you curl it the same way on your curling iron, and then you put them either in curlers or you pin them up. You leave them for as long as you can. The only thing is, if you don't have that much time to keep them in, they won't stay in as long. But then again, if you're going out for an evening, you're probably going to want them for about 3 or 4 hours tops, unless you're a hardcore partier. And to kind of speed things along too, another thing you can do is set your blow dryer on cool and kind of blast out your hair and cool it down faster, and then leave it in when it's still cold, because when the cold is what sets the curls in and makes them last longer. If it's winter outside, do not run out with a hot head outside. That will probably get you meningitis or a head cold at best. So don't do it. Do it with a hairdryer. Another thing you can do if you want just waves is put in something like this. This is a curl activating mousse, and I just use a Sunsilk one. It's cheap and it works. And what you do is you put in like a handful into your hair, almost enough to make it sticky, but not quite. And then you just do rows of French braids. If you want really small waves, like almost a crimp, then you do like 5 French braids. Just start from here and then go back, kind of like cornrows. If you want bigger waves, then do 2 French braids. If you want really, really big waves, then just do 1 French braid at the center of your head. And always remember to braid all the way through to the ends. And those are pretty much some things that really, really, really work for me the best. And I have so much trouble curling my hair, and I figured this out, and it is tedious, but the curls stay in forever. And it's especially the best way. If you have 5 hours to get ready and you want curls for prom and you're doing it yourself, this is probably the way to go, because I will promise you they will stay twice as long as they usually do, at least, if not for the whole night. And I hope it was helpful. If I didn't cover anything or wasn't clear about anything, please don't hesitate to email me on YouTube or post a comment, and I will reply to you as soon as I can. Alright, have a good night. Peace.